So when something is expunged, why is it not automatically removed from the internet?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So oftentimes people are surprised and they reach out to us like, hey, I had my record expunged, but it's still showing up in Google. I thought the expungement was supposed to take care of that. And it's important to understand expungement and its limits. Expungement applies, it's a state remedy. An expungement order applies to state agencies, so courts, law enforcement, police departments, and to online background check companies, or all background check companies. Expungement orders apply to them. They do not apply to private publishers, the media. All of that content is protected by the First Amendment. So if you had an article written up about your arrest, that arrest was later expunged, the expungement will not require that article to be removed. It's protected by the First Amendment. With that being said, expungement can certainly help us when it comes to trying to remove your article. It doesn't guarantee a removal. Publishers know that they don't have to remove just because you had your arrest record expunged, but it gives us some legal arguments. You know, the justice system has forgiven you, but it's still online on the internet indefinitely. That sort of argument can appeal to publishers, so it can certainly help. It's just not a guarantee. And there are two things that I think clients need to be sort of aware of when it comes to expungements. The first is this. We've seen a lot of clients, I don't want to say ruin their case, but harm their case when either they or an attorney on their behalf sends threatening demand letters to publishers saying, hey, this arrest was subject to an expungement order. I'm thereby demanding that you remove it immediately. These publishers know their rights. They know the law. They know that expungement orders don't apply to them. And once you sort of get on their bad side, annoy them, it can be really hard for us to salvage a removal effort after that. So definitely be careful about that. And the other thing to be aware of when it comes to expungement is oftentimes, a publisher, in response to the fact that an arrest record has been expunged, will say, oh, sure, I'm happy to post that the record has been expunged. We'll update the article. And there's two problems with that. The first is obviously the cat's out of the bag. That negates the whole point of expungement to say this record has been expunged. That really doesn't help anybody. And number two, and maybe even more importantly, is when it comes to rankings and where your article comes up in search engine results, Google likes articles and content that is more recent. So if an editor goes in and updates the article, Google is going to see, oh, there is an update, this is more recent, and it can thereby increase the rankings of the article in search engine results, which is definitely not something that you want. So for most people, we would deny a request or an offer to update to demonstrate that the record has been expunged.
So it's my understanding then that national security law firm has a competitive advantage over other law firms because we have attorneys that were former journalists that understand how the publishers think, but they also are lawyers that understand the ramifications associated with an expungement.
Most definitely. So our content removal attorneys have backgrounds in First Amendment, media law, privacy law, and that definitely gives us a huge advantage when it comes to dealing with these editors because we know how they think and we know the type of information that they want to hear, for sure.